I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder or, you know, El Duderino.
Welcome back, Slotcar family, on another video on slotcardude. Today I'm gonna do a little physics on slot cars, or a well-hidden secret, or hardly anybody knows, or how can you detect that? We're talking about behavior of a car. What is a good running car? All of you might have noticed, if you drive magless, so without magnets, that some cars behave better on track right out of the box than others. And you've got no idea why, because it's probably the same producer, same tires, same motor, but still one car runs better than the other. This is when it comes to physics. Now, as hardly anybody knows, I have very many slot car books out of the 60s and 70s, when it was the time high of the slot car hobby. The first wave, let's call it that way, because we're in the second one, don't forget. So in this first wave, I found in one of the books, and I'm going to show it to you later on, I'm going to prove it, that you can actually calculate, measure if a car is behaving well without magnets on the track or not. Yes, you can calculate that. Sorry guys. How do you do it? Of course you need a caliper, and what you need is a car. Now this is a 1 to 43, but I'm going to show it later on to you with 1 to 24 and 1 to 32, because it works especially with those both scales as well, or very well. So what do you need to do? First of all, you need to measure the outside width of the rear axle. And when I say outside, I mean outside including rubbers, whatever rubber, whatever tire compound you use. So the rear axle width, including rims, including tires, the very outside. When you've done that, you will measure from the middle of the rear axle to the turning point, the middle of the turning point of your guide, this length. And what you're going to do is you're going to use a calculator, put in the rear width in centimeters. Sorry guys, European, we're metric. So the rear width in centimeters divided by the length, again, going from the middle of the axle, the rear axle, to the turning point, the middle of the turning point of the guide. If you do that, and if it's a number between 0.6 and 0.7, this is when your car will behave quite well, not to say very well. If the figure that comes out is higher than 0.7, the car will have the tendency to actually roll. If the number that comes out is beneath 0.6, it will tend to fishtail more. Now, you guys will say, well, that's just nonsense, that's just bullshit. If you look into your shelf with your cars, and you see a car that you think that's the one behaving best, go there and just measure it. There are already shops out there. For example, I know one shop in Germany or in Austria that will give together with a description of the car the measurements I just told you, which is width and length. Yes, they will. If you don't believe me, just try it. Just give it a try. That's what I did. I couldn't believe when I read it in the book. Again, I'm going to show you the book in a second, and I'm going to show you samples of cars. Well, I'll show you the measurements, and where I can tell you those cars behave very well on track. So, if you still trust me, if you still trust the experience that I've made with those numbers, give it a try yourself. We'll go to my basement now. We'll check out the book where I found it. I'm going to show you. And we're going to check out a few sample cars where I show you the figures live on my caliper and do the math in the background. So, let's go downstairs. Here we are in my basement where I store all my slot car books from the 60s, 70s, and some from the 80s. In this specific book, I found a chapter on slot car physics. So you see, even in the old days, they already started to think about it. What can we do? How to improve, what not to do, what helps, what doesn't help. So highly recommended, but very rare book already. In this book, I found a technical drawing, which you see here. On the right-hand side, you see dimension W, which goes from the outside of the right rear tire to the outside of the left rear tire. So this is dimension W, and you find in the middle dimension P, which goes from the middle of the rear axle to the pivot point of the guide. And there you can see in the text that if you take W and P and divide W with P, you should get a reading of 0.6 to 0.7. This ratio will tell you that it handles good the car. So here is an example. I took my scale auto car, the Viper, the Dodge Viper that I love to drive, that came third last year in the overall. And it's just a beautiful car behaving like a dream to me. Here you find the chassis, what it looks like. It is one of the old scale auto chassis, so no suspension yet, not on the rear axle motor pod, not on the front axle. And we'll just do that reading that we just saw in the book and see the outcome. So here is the rear dimension. It's 8.1.78. Going from left to right outside of the rear tires, and here from the middle of the rear axle to the pivot point of the guide, and that's 121.92. And there you go. That's the outcome, 0.67. Again, the car behaves very well, very stable. So this is something you can find out in advance already when you have a car and a caliper with you. I'll give you a second example. This is the body of a Carrera Lola T70, but there is a nuts and bolts chassis underneath it, so a metal chassis. So all that's left from that Carrera car here is only the Lola T70 body. And yes, the interior is Lexan, or Lexan. This is the nuts and bolt chassis. It's got an 18D motor, so the bigger one, like the Carrera 1 to 24 cars have. No suspension. I took that out on the front axle, and we'll go through the same procedure. So the outside measurement is 73.0. That's in millimeters, and the length is 116.53. So if we do the maths and put that into the calculator, this is the outcome. It's 0.626 or 0.63. Again, this car is very, very quiet, very well behaving. Even it's only got rubber tires on it. If you like this kind of content, please leave a like. If you want to get informed when I issue new videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's free of charge. Leave comments, share, tell others. Just feel free to stroll around in my channel, ask questions, all slot car related. You ask them, you get an answer. No problem. So I opened the can of worms. Now everybody come and bash me. But try and test for yourself. Again, if the reading is above 0.7, the car will tend to roll. If it's below 0.6, it is likely to slide, power slide, and be tail happy. Slotcar family, this was it. That's another tech hint from the Slotcar dude. I hope you can try it. I hope you can find your own results. And I hope that it will help you on in finding the cars that behave well, run quiet, and that you actually like to run on track, no matter whether it's racing or home driving. And again, don't forget, as always with Slotcar Dude, there is more to come.